Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name's GBay99. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Cynics in the League of Legends community. More specifically, a lot of people in League of Legends are way too cynical. They're way too cynical for all the wrong reasons, and it's something that's really bothered me for a really long time. Let me go ahead and just jump right in with an example, explain what I'm talking about here. Let's take a look at Kiori. Kiori is an example of a YouTuber that some people out there in the League community don't like. And, I mean, it's kind of, when you look at a YouTuber, you're either going to like or don't like them, or you're going to like or not like them because of their content. You either like or don't like their content. That's fine. But the issue with Kiori is that a lot of people, like on Reddit or people that just, stumble across one of his videos, they say, okay, I don't like this guy because I have this problem with his content. But once you sort of get that negative idea that I don't like this guy, suddenly you are never going to be able to like him and look at his content objectively, and even if he fixes whatever problems he has with his content, you are not going to like him in the future. Even if he makes amazing content, because you have this predisposition to hate for him, you are not going to be able to like his content or appreciate anything he does in the future. You are always going to hate him. There's a lot of instances like that in the League community where people get a negative mentality, some sort of negative feeling towards Riot, a department of Riot, towards a pro player, a pro team, a YouTuber, a journalist. There's a lot of instances, League of Legends, the game itself, there's a lot of instances where people say, I hate this thing for whatever reason, and then even if that thing fixes whatever problem you might have with it, they're never able to look at it objectively and say that, okay, it's actually not so bad anymore, it's kind of fixed its issues. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not saying that criticizing things is wrong with this video. I'm not trying to say that. A lot of my favorite people are critics. A lot of my favorite people out there are very harsh critics, very cynical critics. I mean, in gaming as a whole, or even just in the League community. I mean, Thorin is a perfect example. I think Thorin does some of the best games journalism I have ever seen. I mean, in the entire gaming industry, but especially in esports, he does a great job of being a very harsh critic. He's not a harsh critic because he hates Riot Games and he has some sort of personal vendetta against them because they killed his son or something. He just is really, he has high standards for esports journalism, and when some lol esports writer goes out, gets drunk, and writes an article saying that Westdoor is somehow better than Soomday, he won't like tear that article apart because he's trying to get back at Riot. He will tear that article apart because it's bad games journalism, because it's bad esports journalism, and he will explain 6 ways from Sunday why that article is trash, why that is bad games journalism, why it is that Westdoor isn't actually better than Soomday, and why the only thing that Westdoor should be ranked higher than Soomday is on like a list of Koreans, how Korean a person is from most Korean to least Korean or something. Like, he will explain why that article is shitty and not just say this article is shitty, and the reason this is shitty is because I have a vendetta against Riot. I don't like Riot very much, and so I'm going to just do everything I can to criticize Riot at every corner. There's a lot of people that do the latter in the League community, and it's something that really bothers me. I mean, there's a lot of great critics out there, and I think people look at them and then they sort of get the wrong idea about them. I mean, another great example, a lot of my favorite reviewers and critics, reviewers, people in gaming in general, are the really harsh and cynical critics, people like Total Biscuit or Yahtzee Croshaw. Yahtzee Croshaw is a perfect example. Take a look at Nintendo. Nintendo is a company that I've always said is kind of like your old grandpa that's still racist, right? They grew up in a different time, and so they have all these outdated thoughts and feelings because it was more accepted back then in the old days to be racist, and so they just haven't been able to let go of these feelings. And Yahtzee Croshaw has criticized the hell out of Nintendo for all of their outdated policies, for the fact that they really cannot, for some reason, they just can't make a new IP once every 20 years. For some reason, they can't accept basic online functionality, and that video games out there should be, or have the capability to be pretty damn fun if you add some real multiplayer structure into your video games, and that, I mean, first-person shooters are kind of a big deal and have kind of been a big deal for the past 10 years, past 20 years even. I mean, Nintendo just is super outdated and has just been making a bunch of Mario remakes, and so Yahtzee Croshaw criticizes the hell out of Nintendo for making all those new Super Mario Brothers Wii U Double Hats Edition or whatever. He criticizes the hell out of Nintendo for it, But then when Nintendo actually takes a step in the right direction and they release something like Splatoon, that's a third-person shooter that is a new IP and has a multiplayer focus, he will still criticize the game and critique it the way that a critic would, but he will say, okay, this is overall a good job, Nintendo. You took a step in the right direction. That's what I feel like the League community needs to do more often. There are so many people out there in the League community that once they get their negative feeling for something, they will never let go of that negative feeling and will always hate that person or that content or that writer, journalist, riot, or whatever. They will always hate it forever. But you gotta be able to accept when something takes a step in the right direction. That's the difference between just being a cynical jerk and being someone that's just a harsh critic or someone that's just, they have high standards. That's the difference between being a cynical asshole and someone that just has high standards, is being able to accept when things aren't so bad, when things take a step in the right direction. And I feel like the League community really needs to recognize that a little more, because it is getting permanently soured, it feels like, every time that you see people complaining about every little thing that Riot does or that whatever person in the community does, whatever figurehead or pro player or pro team or what have you. I really hope that people are able to really just take a look at the good that happens when people do start taking steps in the right direction and amending whatever issues that they might have. Anyway, though, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching. I will, of course, see you all tomorrow, but until then, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.